On behalf of the center, I just wanted to welcome Margo to the center. We've connected to Margo through Venerable Robina, and Margo's in Scotland, and she's the founder of Togme Sangpo Buddhist Center or Buddhist group, study group there in Scotland. And she's been involved in Buddhism since 1987 as a registered FPMT teacher. So we're really thrilled that she was able to accept our invitation, and we hope that this is just the first class that she'll be offering over the coming years. We hope that we'll have a long relationship with Margo over the coming years. And so I just wanted to again welcome her and to say thank you so much for accepting our invitation.
Thank you, Venerable Lundrup, and thank you, Anna, for hosting us. So thank you, everyone, for showing up. I'm delighted to see you all here. I'll make the screen a bit bigger.
Do you like me to screen share the prayers, Margo?
Yes, that would be great to start with. We want to start with some opening prayers, the refuge prayers, and then I'll talk a bit about the session. Great. So let's do some prayers. Let's do the English version of the refuge and bodhicitta prayers. Maybe you're very, very familiar with it. Maybe this is new to you. So this is like an opening prayer to start our session and in a way cultivate our motivation. And let's do it in English. Every other line is in English. So please do it out loud, although you're muted, but let's do it out loud. And traditionally, if you want to put your hands in front of your chest, thumbs inwards, then that you can do that. And if you don't, no problem. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all beings, all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. Thank you, Anna, for screen sharing this. So, yeah, great to see you all here. So I'm here in Scotland. I'm originally from the Netherlands, being in Scotland for over 30 years in actually a spiritual community, the Findhorn Spiritual Community in Eco Village. And I started a Buddhist group here in the same lineage as this group is part, this center is part of. And we just had our 10th, we just exist 10 years, so it's pretty exciting. We're a very small group. So I'm beyond impressed when I saw the schedule of the Santa Fe Center. So this is a course or a couple of sessions, 4 sessions on the heart of meditation. And the idea is to make it very, very practical, to actually engage in meditation and also do some meditations together. So we'll talk a little bit about meditation, what it is, what it's for, how to do it, and also a big part of the time we actually engage in meditations. So just want to get to know you a little. Whom of you are regular followers of the center? Okay, some of you, and others, great. And for whom of you is this quite new? So all regulars. Oh, some new, great. So fantastic to have both. So Where to start? I actually want to start with a short meditation. Actually, very much a body oriented meditation where we focus on our body and then focus on our breath. So, what I want to do is a body scan. So, one of the important things before doing a meditation is actually making our body comfortable and being connected to our body. So I want to invite you to make yourself comfortable. Make sure you sit with your back straight. That's the most important thing. If you sit on a chair or a cushion or any other way, as long as your back is quite straight and you're in a comfortable position. So first of all, I invite you to bring your attention to your body, feeling your sit bones on the seat. And bring your attention to the crown of your head. If you want, you may close your eyes or lower your gaze. And be with the tactile sensation in your body at the crown of your head. And gently bring your attention down to your forehead, your face, nose, cheeks, and jaw. To your ears, the back of your head. Your eyes, mouth, to the inside of your head. And to your neck, shoulders, to your chest, and to your back. Following your spine all the way down to your seat. Your shoulder blades, your hips, to your chest and lungs, your heart, moving down to your abdomen, your pelvic area, moving down your legs, your upper legs, the knees, lower legs, your ankles, and your feet, including the soles of your feet, your toes. Allowing your whole body to be relaxed and alert. And notice the sensation caused by the breath. One of the ways to do that is to rest your attention on the rising and falling of the abdomen. You don't need to change your breathing faster or slower. Just breathe your normal breath. Feel how you breathe in and out. And allow that to be your anchor. There may be distractions arising, maybe thoughts, feelings, emotions, maybe sounds, sensations, anything else. I invite you to just notice it, to not be carried away by it. Not push them away and not hold on to them. Just notice the distraction and then gently return your attention to the breath. Whenever there's a distraction, just notice it. And gently, kindly, and patiently bring your attention back to the breathing. Just another moment more, focusing on your breath. And then gently bring your attention back to the here and now. You may open your eyes, maybe move your body, your shoulders, your toes, anything else. So maybe a brief overview. What I plan to do in these sessions is to start with a meditation, then have some teaching, some introductions, some also time for questions, answers, dialogues amongst us, and then another meditation in the end. And today also I have a very short 7-minute video by someone who I think is fantastic in describing meditation. So I'll hope to bring that in. So from this first meditation, what did you notice? Any comments, observations? If you want to speak, how can we best do that? Do you raise your hands or what's the best way? Anna, can you help me here? What's the best way? Can people unmute themselves?
Yes, certainly. People are free to just simply unmute. That's fine.
So
Yes.
please just wave your hand or unmute yourself. And if you want to say what was this like for you, helps me to get an idea of who you all are. Yeah, no, not at the moment. So maybe, yeah, Anna, yes.
Margo, something different which just really hit me in the guided meditation there was when you said and just use the breath to anchor yourself. So it was like it just hit me in this meditation with you and your voice, and it was like I could just relax my whole body a little bit more, keep this spine straight as much as I can, you know. But it just kind of really it helped me to relax. Like
Right,
that's my anchor. Just focus on the breath.
right,
Naturally comes a straight spine, and then so it was just a new little,
mhm.
tip. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Yeah, because it is in a way our breath is just an anchor in this meditation. There's nothing super exciting about it. We breathe all day long, so breath isn't something new or whatever. But basically, that's how I experience. That is what it is. It is an anchor. We can also focus on something else, but as we breathe all the time, as long as we're alive, that is why this is chosen as an object of concentration in this type of meditation. Later on, so during the sessions, I'm also planning to do a few different meditations. So then our object of concentration may be on something else. Maybe we focus on, loving kindness as our object of concentration, or on more like philosophical concept that we're exploring. So in these couple of sessions, we'll do a few different things, different types of meditation, and this is one of them. This is, I think, sort of the most famous one because it's. I think we always start there, and many traditions in Buddhism follow this one. So that's. I thought we'll just start with this. But thank you for that observation about the anchor. Yeah. Right. Anyone else? Okay, so meditation. Maybe we have a little bit of a look here. Many of you have meditated before, but let's just look at what actually is meditation. So if you go to the Tibetan, the word meditation the Tibetan word is gom, and actually meditation there means becoming familiar with. So actually what we do in a meditation, it has something to do with becoming more familiar. So what do we want to become more familiar with? We want to become more familiar with who we actually are, with, in a way, our fullness, our wholeness. And I think especially we want to become more familiar with our positive qualities. So we all have a huge amount of qualities inside our being, our mind, our consciousness. And the whole idea of meditation is to be more, to have more access to that, to be more familiar, especially with these positive qualities. And as we looked up in the beginning, the opening prayer, it says, may I become enlightened to benefit all sentient beings. So enlightenment actually is, so that is the ultimate goal of meditation. One goal could be simply a relaxation, have a bit of peace of mind, a bit of quietness in our being. But ultimately, the goal is enlightenment. And enlightenment actually is the cultivation of all positive qualities and the removal of all like negative or unhelpful qualities. So that's, in a nutshell, that's what it is. I'm sure there's, of course, there's much more to it, but that's the short version of it. So also what we do in meditation, we focus on the mind, or I actually like to use the word consciousness. So the mind or consciousness is not the same as the brain. We all have a brain, but our mind or consciousness is way beyond that. The brain is usually involved with thinking, but the mind, or the word consciousness, I think in the West that has more a wider connection, a wider interpretation. It also includes our feelings. It includes our intentions. It includes our memory. It includes our dreams. It includes our creativity. It includes, love and compassion. So it includes a much wider range than, only thinking. So when we say the word mind or consciousness, it expands much more than just the thinking. So when we meditate, we actually engage with our consciousness. Actually, it is a transformation of consciousness. That is what meditation is or can be. As I said, there are different types of meditations, especially in Tibetan Buddhism. There's a whole range of different types of entertainment in meditation. They're different for different purposes and different situations. And the breathing, I think it's something that comes back again and again, because it is a very important one to actually be able to focus on something. So if later we may want to do other meditations, more advanced ones or more, complicated ones or deeper or different, yet if we can't keep our attention on whichever we choose, then it's no use to do a super advanced meditation if we can't keep our attention to it. So I always like this image of our of what I call the monkey mind, that a part of our mind is like a monkey, or maybe a little puppy is a better idea for us in the West. So a little puppy always wants to grasp onto anything, whatever it sees, it jumps up and it's interested in whatever moves. And our ordinary mind is the same way. You may check that. So whatever I say, don't believe that. Just check it out for yourself. Is that true for you? But if you have meditated either the 15 minutes we did in the beginning or anywhere else, you may notice that the mind always wants to go somewhere else, no matter how boring or insignificant it is. It seems the mind is often not used to just simply be. There always needs to be something else to go on or to move or go to the shopping list or go to a memory of something, or there is a huge tendency of the mind to do that. So the Buddha, he said, we live in the desire realm, this realm of we always want something. There's always this hunger or thirst or craving for something to happen. So even if you say, let's now for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just simply watch your breath. It's not rocket science. It sounds very simple. Watch your breath, but actually doing it, I think it's not easy. It's not an easy task. So that's why we need to practice and cultivate that again and again. So then one of the things that help is our body, is our posture. So they created a posture looking at the 7 points of the meditation posture. Also the posture of Vajrayana. So I just want to go through them at this moment. So the first one is, first of all, you need to choose your seating. So how are you all sitting? Are you all sitting on a chair or a cushion? Chair, mostly. Yeah. So traditionally, people usually sit on the floor or on a cushion. But I'm sitting on a chair, and I think many of us sit on a chair. So you choose a seat where you can sit comfortably. So that can be a chair or a cushion or a stool, or in theory, you could even stand up doing a meditation, standing up. There is also one position that's, I think, a very dangerous position, lying down. So the danger, obviously, is that you might fall asleep. It's much harder to stay awake. So that's why I call it a dangerous position. But if, in some circumstances, you can do that if you're sick, or if there's a reason to do that. However, usually we're asked we usually sit. So I talk through it as if we're sitting. And the first important thing is that the back is straight. We can imagine the back, the vertebrae are like coins on top of each other. If you can see that, there's a whole string of coins on top of each other. So you can feel into your back. It is straight. It's not like a soldier, like totally straight, like a stick or so, but it's certainly not slumped. So it is as straight as you can, while still being relaxed. The second is the legs. So if you sit on a chair, it's usually good to sit a little bit in front of the chair so that you don't lean. So you don't sort of lean, in the relaxed position, like leaning like that. You sit a little bit at the front of a chair so that your back is as straight as possible. And in case you sit on a cushion, you can have your legs cross-legged. Ideally, they teach the double lotus or the half lotus. There are, but that's, I think, for many Westerners, that's too much. But if you can do that, if you have flexible legs, or you're still young, or you have the good fortune to be able to sit in a double lotus or half lotus, then you can do that. Or you simply sit cross-legged. The important thing is that you create a stable position where your knees are touching the floor. So again, usually if you sit on a cushion, it helps to sit a little bit at the front of the cushion and allow your knees to touch the floor, basically to provide a stable basis. So back and legs. And then we go to the shoulders. So the shoulders are relaxed. So often we have quite a bit of tension in our shoulders. So here it's important to allow the shoulders to be relaxed and alert. I see there's a question. Aaron, you want to say something? Or?
Yes, I had a quick question about if we're going to use a chair. Should we sit in the front of the chair or with our back to the chair?
The important thing is that you sit straight. So depending on what type of chair it is, you certainly don't lean. You certainly don't lean. Like I sit now on a straight chair, and I sit basically a bit on the back, to the back, but I don't lean, because then, that's, so as long as you don't lean, and then I think you can find your own position. How does that sound? How is that for you? What makes sense for you?
I think that makes a lot of sense because like the chairs I use like when I'm doing videos like this, it's like they're not too comfortable. So it's kind of like if I lean all the way back, it's a little, I'm not supposed to, but if I go too much to the front, it's super uncomfortable.
Yeah, yeah. And I think sitting back provides more stability and spreads the weight a little. Yeah, so I think that sounds good. Mhm. Good question, thank you. Or question, comment. So yeah, shoulders relaxed. So no tension in the shoulders, because we often keep tension in the shoulders. And they say usually it's good to have some space under the armpits, basically to not tighten our arms to our body. Have some space under the armpits. And the hands, so there is traditionally, they say your right hand goes on top of the left and your thumbs lightly touch each other. So that is the official position in this lineage. In other lineages, people do it the other way around. So in case you're used to do it another way, that's fine. But that's how it's taught. So you may want to experiment with that. Is that working? Sometimes you may need to put a cushion under your hands to make it more comfortable. So that is supposed to be the best way to hold your hands, in a way to create an inward position. Next is the neck. The neck is slightly extended. So in a way, you tilt your head down a little bit. So instead of, you're not going to look up that way, you bring your head down a little. So the back of the neck is slightly stretched and the energy flows through it easily. And the jaw is relaxed. We often tend to hold a lot of tension in the jaw. So it's actually good to consciously say, relax and allow the jaw to drop a little so we don't clench our teeth. So jaw relaxed. The tip of the tongue is behind the upper teeth. And that is especially in longer meditations to prevent swallowing. And then finally, the eyes. So traditionally, it's thought to have the eyes half open, to in a way gaze downward on a space somewhere in front of you, gaze downward. Now, often in the West, many of us actually close our eyes. So that is also, it's sometimes easier in the beginning, especially, to have your eyes closed, to not be distracted by things. So in a way, you can experiment with that, what works for you. They also say if you are quite distracted anyway, then you might want to close your eyes to at least physically say like, not now, please. You close your eyes to whatever is going on. However, there is a danger of especially if you have a tendency to fall asleep, it's more easy to fall asleep when you have your eyes closed. So then if you're more towards the sleepy type, then it's actually much better to open your eyes or open them a little bit more. So so these are just some basic instructions that are given to support our meditation. So any comments or experiences? Because this is just Buddha's teachings passed on, but you may, in a way, it is a work in progress. And of course, I want to say, like even Buddha said that, and I like that about him. Don't believe anything that you hear, not from the Buddha, not from me. Check it out for yourself and see, is this working for you? So you are the expert. So you check things out yourself. Any comments, questions at the moment? So then what I would like to do is actually to listen to someone who is a great meditator, Venerable René Fusey. He, I don't know, some of you may know him. He's a very good meditation teacher. He has been in like long retreats, like a 3-year retreat. And he is part of the Discovering Buddhism faculty, there is a little video which I really like, which I think is pretty good. So I have a 7-minute clip from that video I wanted to share with you. So, and he teaches about meditation. It is a longer piece, but maybe I'll do the other bit next week. So just for 7 minutes. To have a mind where you can control your thought and your emotion is incredible. You know? Without speaking about getting spiritual realization, just to be able to say stop to the thought when you want, to say stop to the emotion when you want, you know, to have that capacity to be master of your own mind, you know, to be able to say, oh, these thoughts stop, you know, these emotions stop, now I have enough of you. And to be, whenever you want, you can stay still, you know. So to have this capacity is an incredible, you know, peace of mind, an incredible advantage. You know, suddenly you become master of your own mind. If you want to develop any qualities of mind, you need some mindfulness, some continuity in what meditation you do. You know, for example, you meditate on love. If your mind of meditating on love get constantly interrupted by other thoughts, you know, there's no way that you will have the ability to develop a strong love. You know? Same thing if you meditate about the nature of reality, you know, how things really exist. You know, if you have this inquiring mind which follows a stream of thought and wants to reach a conclusion and stay on it, you have to have had a concentrated mind which is able to follow the analysis without being distracted. And once you reach a conclusion, to look at it and see what it implies. You know, you must be able to stay on the conclusion of your analysis and see what it implies, how it changes your whole worldview, you know, based on that conclusion you have reached. So in order for that to function, again, you need to have a calm mind. If you have more, we have control over our mind, you know. What happens is that instead of going constantly up and down like a yo-yo, you know, being overly excited when something good happens and completely depressed when things go wrong, you know, our usual mind, you know. So with concentration, your mind becomes much more even. That evenness of mind actually is a type of joy, a type of peace, which is so pleasant, much more pleasant actually than even the excitement of pleasure. You know, to have this still inside, you know, is much more pleasant than having good news and good things happening out there. With time, we see that what we call pleasure, excitement, actually is a form of suffering. You know, it's not real happiness, it's excitement, and it's like boiling water. You know, there's no peace, no serenity in what we call pleasure. You know? But this we see by practicing. So that's why I think effort put into concentration, into developing karma abiding, I think is very important. And we can do that in everyday life. It doesn't need necessarily to go into retreat to do that. You know, you just know how to go about it and you have to know how to integrate it into your everyday life. In order to develop calm abiding, there are certain conditions, you know, which help. So
all these conditions we can gather in our everyday life. You know, we don't need necessarily to go to a complete isolated place. It just means having little desire, be content with one's life situation, you know, and have a little bit of peaceful environment. You know? So even though one might have a family life, still we can wake up an earlier before everybody else and do some calm abiding then, you know, or at the evening when everybody's at bed, or when the children are at school or something like that. One can find a place, a time in a day, you know, if one wants it, for a peaceful meditation. So the first is to have, you see, wishing to do the meditation, you know, by seeing its advantage, then developing the determination, I'm going to do it, and for such amount of time, I'm not going to lose the object, you know, and then is to develop the mindfulness of holding the object without losing it. And once you're able to do that, then you use introspection to check the quality of your concentration. And then to make it more precise, you know, if you're prone to dullness, then you hold the object more intensely. If you have too much excitement, you lose, you know, you relax it to be the grip on your object, you know, and like that, slowly you find the middle way, you know, and you're able to hold on to it. So that's a little bit the process, how one goes about it. And by doing that, you know, one goes through 9 stages. Just in brief, I will go a little bit over that. So when one starts meditation,
I think that's enough for today. Just to get a little bit of a flavor from, like, because I think he's a super experienced meditator. So any questions, any comments, observations? How does that sound? Does it sound doable? So I think what's important, I like that in his teaching, that he says, like, you need to really dedicate yourself to it. So part of building up a meditation practice, first of all, you need to learn how to do it. And then the next phase is to actually engage in a practice and set up a daily rhythm to choose a time once or twice in the day. So usually mornings are the best. Mornings, especially before breakfast, before coffee, tea, you know, anything else, to set some time aside. And that can be any length of time. That can be 10 minutes if you say, that's all I can do, 10 minutes. Or you do 20 minutes if, you know, if you're comfortable. It's also something you can build up. You start with a short amount and then you say, well, after a few weeks, maybe you do 5 minutes more or another 5 minutes more. It's better to start small and actually, you know, be cheerful about what you're achieving and say, hey, you know, I've been sitting for 10 minutes. How wonderful. Rather than that you say, this is so fantastic, I'm going to do a whole hour. And then after 25 minutes, you know, you freak out and you might lose heart. So it's actually very good to start small and then to build up from there. Yes, Aaron.
So should we start then with like unguided meditations or certain types of meditations?
Well, start with the meditations you know. So we have done today a breathing meditation. So that is a great way to start. You know, start with checking your posture. Either we've done like a body scan, like check your body. You know, first do a little body scan for a couple of minutes and then watch your breathing and then go back to it again and again and again. That's pretty good. So that, you know, that is an excellent way to start. And so that is one specific type of meditation that leads to calm abiding. But it is very standard meditation. So that's a fantastic way to start. Yeah. And then later, if you learn others, then you can include others or add some others onto it. But that should keep you going for a while, I think. Yeah. How does that sound? Do you have a meditation practice, or are you thinking of setting one up?
I'm thinking of setting one up because I'm kind of in transition. I actually come from a Tendai tradition of practice, and I'm kind of still learning Tibetan style practice. And like I see that there's a lot of things like guru yogas and like all these type of very specific practices. Whereas for Tendai, it was usually more liturgical at times.
Okay.
And I'm still adjusting.
Right. I don't think I know that one, but yeah. Yeah. So yes, that's true in Tibet, especially I think in Tibetan Buddhist practice, there are a vast amount of practices and meditations and prayers and teachings, and there's a lot. I think it's very, I think it's very attractive. That's why I'm involved in it. And it can also be overwhelming. So it's good to start with one and then, go step by step. And that's also why, I mean, this is just a short course with, 4 sessions with a couple of meditations. There are also longer courses. I think Venerable Rabina is teaching on Monday with a longer course on how to meditate. So there are short courses like this. There are longer or medium courses like Discovering Buddhism, where you have, many, much more input in a bit of the philosophy and the meditation practices, which takes usually about 2 years or something like that. So that's another way to get more into it. But breathing meditation is a great way to start. Fantastic. I applaud you for doing that. Mm-hmm. And then rejoicing in your practice. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's another one. At the end of a meditation practice, it's actually good to applaud yourself and to pat yourself on the back and say, great, I've done my practice. How fantastic. Instead of thinking, oh gosh, I was so distracted. It's actually good to rejoice. And then traditionally also we dedicate the positive energy to basically the benefit of all beings. That's the nutshell version. Right. Anyone else? Any comments? Yeah, Anna?
Margo, hello there. How does meditation help more physically? Or what's the knock-on effect, or what's the correlation between mind and body? And what I'm really asking is, can it help physical ailments?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What is your experience with that, or what type of?
Well, with using qigong and meditation, I had an inflamed heart. The sac around your heart became inflamed, but I caught it pretty quick.
Yeah.
And I worked with Phupsum Norbu Ling's qigong. She delivers those sessions with us here. But it was also along with the meditation, and it's completely gone. I could physically feel my chest was raised. Obvious external factors had brought it up, so that wasn't a mystery to me, but it was coming out in a physical sense. So I'm just wondering, say if I was limited for time, would you recommend head toward meditation practice or the qigong? Really, in general, I'm just interested in how meditation can help physically. Due to my experience, prior to that, I just trust that it can.
Mm-hmm, yes,
really.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I must say I'm a great fan of Qigong or Tai Chi or yoga or all these things. I certainly think meditation can help because our mind and our body are interconnected. So I think when our mind is more more peaceful, more stable, more more calm, more loving, more accepting, then that has an effect on our body and on physical well-being. So as you already described, so you have already your own experience, which I think is very valuable. So I certainly think, and also I have the experience that meditation certainly helps in different aspects of life. It can help with our health, it can help our relationships, it can help our, our career, or in a way, a meditation practice helps in all the different aspects of our lives, because it all starts with the mind, with the consciousness. And if our consciousness is more peaceful, then everything we do, whether it's dealing with health or any other aspect of life, will be more peaceful. We will make better choices. We will be more curious rather than reacting to whatever is happening. More having a space to actually observe, like, oh, what are my options here? Often our consciousness, it's like often compared to, like, if you have a glass of water with sand in it and it's all churned up, it's very, you can't see through it, it's not clear. But when you give space to that glass water and that sand, so that sand moves to the bottom of the glass, the water becomes clear. So when our mind, our consciousness is more clear, then we can make better choices in our lives. And also our body has better the ability to heal itself. So that's, so yes, I certainly believe it's interconnected. And on your question, like, is meditation better than Qigong? It's like, that is very different in a way. You might need to find a way for yourself to see, how can you do that? Because Qigong can be very useful and, great for the body as well as for the mind. So I think we all need to find our own way through that and find a balance. Like, personally, what I do is, before my 20-minute meditation practice, I do 5 minutes of some Qigong or a yoga exercise. I do, just a couple of minutes. I do a little something for my body, and then I'm going to sit and do the meditation. So that's how I work it. So you might find your own way how you work that. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Seems to be spoiled for choice, really. So but yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So that's true, and that is in a way why it's helpful if you make your own plan. You say, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 10 minutes of this and 10 minutes of that, or something like that. So it's actually good to make a plan and then stick to it for a while. Mm-hmm. Great, good question. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyone else? Because otherwise, I would love to go back into meditation. So what I would like to do is to again start with some breathing, and then also move on. There is a loving kindness meditation. So we'll start with breathing, and then I'll just guide us through a loving kindness meditation. So this is in order to cultivate qualities of loving kindness. So that is a different type of meditation. But I hope that works for you. Yeah. So let's start again with simply bringing ourselves present. Yeah, notice how you sit, your posture. Check if the back is straight. Your legs supporting you. Shoulders relaxed. Back of the neck slightly stretched. Or chucking in the chin, jaw relaxed, tip of the tongue behind the upper teeth. The eyes closed or half open, gazing downward. And again, notice your breathing. Be with the tactile sensation of the breath. And we can do that at the abdomen. Whenever there's a distraction, just notice it. Return the attention, your attention to the breath. So now, maintaining that inner sense of peace or stillness, I invite you to imagine in the space around you all living beings. Imagine your mother on your left, your father on your right, or if you never knew your parents, your other caregivers. Your relatives and friends are behind you. Now imagine in the space in front of you, 3 people. Someone you like, someone you dislike or have difficulties with at the moment, and someone you feel indifferent to. You may have more options, but focus on 3 people. One person you like, someone who has hurt you or harmed you, and someone you feel indifferent towards. Maintain these images throughout the meditation. So first focus on your friend and allow your feelings for him or her to arise. Feel your conviction that this person is definitely a friend. It is a person who is good to you and satisfies your needs. Feel how you really want this person to be happy. And immerse yourself into your good feelings. Now turn to the next person, the person you have difficulties with, the person you do not like, and who is not kind to you, who does not satisfy your needs, who annoys you or makes you angry, who hurts you. Look carefully at this person and carefully note your feelings. Without judgment or without needing to do anything with it for this moment. Keep breathing as you do this. Feel your sit bones on the seat. And finally, turn to the so-called stranger, the person you hardly know. you have no like for and no dislike. Look carefully at this person and note your feelings of indifference. Now recognize that the basis for your relationship to those three people is only what they do or don't do for you. At this point in time. So just check, is this realistic? We may be aware of our interconnectedness, of continuous changes in this life, and even over many lifetimes. If you hold the concept of multiple lives, everyone has been our friend, has been our enemy, and has been a stranger many times before. Even in this life, these roles may change. So isn't it reasonable to be kind to your enemy or difficult person now? Because they have been your friend before. So return to your friend. And imagine a situation that would cause the relationship to change. Imagine your friend turning against you. And imagine the resentment and hurt. And how you no longer feel warm, no longer wish them well. Where would that friend be then? Remember, this person was not your friend before you were acquainted, and could very well stop being your friend, just as you visualized. Realize that there is no solid reason for feeling kind and loving towards only the friend at this moment. Relationships changed in the past and will continue to change. Today's friend could become tomorrow's enemy. Now turn to your current enemy, the person you find difficult. And imagine a situation in which you could be drawn together. A common interest, a word of praise or kindness, or a kind action. Look carefully at this person. Are your feelings softening when you imagine this? You can learn to feel warmly towards the person you find difficult. This has happened before and will happen again. Why hold so strongly to the conception that this person is definitely difficult? And what of the stranger? Imagine how one act of kindness or a moment of anger from the person could immediately turn them into either a friend or a difficult person. There is no solid, definite stranger there, and no solid reason for your feeling of indifference. Remember that your present friend and enemy were strangers before you knew them. This current difficult person could become a friend. Keep these three people in front of you and think how impermanent this situation is. It's only your misconceived belief in the stability of these relationships that holds your mind back from the possibility of change. Your friend, the difficult person, and stranger all want happiness, just like you. So in this respect, everyone is equal. And everyone is equal in having the potential to develop their minds to the fullest and achieve ultimate clarity and compassion. Differences we see in people are superficial, based on our mistaken and narrow self-centered viewpoint. In fact, everyone is equal in deserving our care and compassion. So this does not mean we should not discriminate. On a practical level, this is necessary. Of course, we feel close to some people and we are wise to keep our distance from some others. This is not a contradiction. The point is to develop equal concern, equal regard for everyone, whether they help us or harm us at this point in time. This brings to some sense of equanimity, and just hold on to that space for a moment. And then gently let's return our attention back to our body, to the room, our Zoom room, and our group. Okay, so we are coming towards the end of our session. We got a couple more minutes. So this was a different type of meditation, more and what's called an analytical meditation, where you explore a topic and then at some point stay with a feeling. So I need to correct, this is actually a meditation on equanimity. And I took it from the book How to Meditate from Venerable Sangye Kadro. My personal Bible, I call this a very, very good book. So any comments before we're going to close our session? Comments, observations, questions? Yes, Anna?
Hi again. Just a passing comment, really. I'm just finding it so useful to experience and hear, teachings on meditation from various teachers. Because again, as I've experienced in this class, I've heard something similar. I've heard before, but it's just dropped in me mind in a completely different way. So just an observation. It's good to have um a wide range of for me anyway, of teachings maybe on the same topic. Seems to be
Mhm.
useful.
My pleasure. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for saying that. Yeah. So this is a very practical example of how you actually can change. Also, when you are in a difficult situation with, a certain someone, I'm sure we all have a certain someone in our lives that's challenging. This is one of the meditations that can be very helpful.
I've done that meditation before, but I've done it practiced in a slightly different way. So instead of inviting those three people into the same room, as it were, so I've done it in the stages. So generating, it's more of a slightly different focus, more focus on generating positive feelings. So towards the friend, and then the neutral person, and then the difficult person.
Yes. Yeah. There are infinite different ways to do this meditation. Initially, I was planning to do a slightly different meditation, but I changed course. So we'll do the other one another time. So there are different meditations in a way. This was like to cultivate equanimity, in a way, have a sense of equanimity towards, people we like, we don't like, and we don't know. And the next step would be to cultivate compassion or loving kindness to them. I thought I'll keep that for next week. So,
yeah, a little bit more challenging, I suppose.
Yeah, but this is an important step. But because if we have the attitude, well, I'm not going to send loving kindness to that one because they did that to me, then in a way we could block out certain people. So that's why this meditation is part of part of the practice.
I found that through doing this meditation that I have fewer difficult people in my life. So I don't think that's just a coincidence.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah. So the practice is working. Yeah. Great. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you, Greta.
So I think we're coming towards the end of our session. So and I imagine, are there any closing announcements either Anna or Venerable Losang need to make? Yeah, no, no. Okay, so before we do our closing dedication, just want to say, well, first of all, thank you for being here and joining in and engaging with these meditations and getting to know you a little. That's always, I find it always helpful. And during the week, I recommend, if maybe you already have your practice, then keep doing what you're doing. But if you want to bring in, if not, if you want to bring in, especially this first meditation on the breath, and start a practice. And then if you come back next week, we can report on that and see how it's going. And if you have any questions. Okay, shall we do the dedication prayers? Anna, could you bring that up? Again, let's do them in English. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all living beings without exception into that enlightened state. Let's also do the Tibetan. Okay, we keep going. No, keep going. Thank you. May the jewel bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish, but increase forevermore. Thank you, Anna. I think we'll leave the long life prayers for another time. Yeah. Great.
Thank you so much, Margo.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. And thank you, Anna and Venerable Losang, for hosting this session. And I look forward to see you next week.
Thank you.